Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Roberto Corona. I am an Italian anthroposopher and astrologer, and in this video we're going to talk about the next Virgo new moon of September 3rd, a moon that is asking of us to take action and to overcome all the challenges that are awaiting us upon our return. Now, with this new moon, in fact, we are officially entering Virgo season, Virgo being an earth sign, which in astrology is the element connected to work and being productive and so on. So we can take advantage of this new moon in this regard. So what's new in the sky? Let's now take a good look at the chart. So on August 22nd, the Sun entered Virgo, of course, being this new moon in Virgo. Whereas on August 29, we had two significant events. Mercury finally returned direct. Here it is in Leo, and Venus entered Libra in her diurnal domicile, which is very, very good. Now, on September 1st, we have one of the most significant changes of the season. I am referring to Pluto, which slowly but surely get back to Capricorn. Now, we talked about Pluto's ingress into Aquarius in 3 phases. You can watch my dedicated video about it that you can find in the description down below. But now we have reached Pluto's very last appointment with Capricorn, which surely will not go unnoticed because Pluto is making, as you can see, a trine with Uranus. Now, this transit of Pluto in Capricorn will last until November 19, and we can say that this transit will create opportunities for all the strong and occult powers of the world, such as large banking groups or insurance companies or large investment, financial groups, you name them. Now, this means that they will be able to exploit all the protest movements to their advantage because Uranus is going to, of course, bring these protests on, and Pluto making a trine is going to take advantage of them. So keep that in mind. Now, back to the chart, this is a new moon, and it represents the beginning of the process of manifestation of the etheric forces on the earth. So gradually they're going to increase with the waxing moon up to the full moon. And in this regard, the new moon is a cosmic seed, meaning that it is a good time to sow, to start new things and being productive, right? But this manifestation process this time will reach its culmination with a full moon that is going to be, surprise, surprise, a lunar eclipse. So I'm talking about the full moon in Pisces happening on September 18, and this is going to be the first eclipse of eclipse season 2 of the year. So keep that in mind as well, because we are approaching this challenging time. So back to the chart, Sun and Moon are located at 11 degrees 04 Virgo, and they can both be found in the starry image of the lion here. And they are in close conjunction with the star Zosma, which means the back or rib of the lion, and it is a very particular star, as we're going to see. Sun and Moon are both ruled by Mercury, of course, being Mercury the ruler of Virgo. And as we said, Mercury is in Leo. Now, this creates a very interesting configuration. This is what we call a mutual reception between the Sun and Mercury, which, by the way, is very, very good. Now, basically, the Sun is receiving Mercury in its domicile, which is Leo, and vice versa. Mercury is receiving the Sun in its own, that is Virgo. And this means that the two are creating this beautiful collaboration. They are working together. And this, of course, makes the chart very, very favorable. Now, this pact, this alliance, if you will, between Sun and Mercury will have to deal mainly with 2 players who will try to counter them. The first is Saturn, that you can see is making an opposition with the Sun and the Moon. So here it is. This is the opposition between Sun, Moon, and Saturn. And the second is Uranus, which is involving this time Mercury, the ruler of the event. The ruler of the chart, Mercury, is creating a square with Uranus. Now, this is not new. This is the third square that Mercury is going to make with Uranus, and we talked about it in the video of Mercury retrograde, so you can check that out if you are interested to see how so far during August this process started basically unfolding. Now, on top of that, this chart comes with two very interesting features. So Venus is in Libra, as we mentioned, but as you can see, Venus is in close conjunction with Cauda Draconis, which is the south node, and Lilith. So she also has work to do, right? I don't usually use much Lilith, but this time that I had to do it, of course. Now, the second is Mars, which the day after of the new moon on September 4th, Mars, here it is, will enter Cancer. So we're going to have a Mars in exile for a couple of months. Now, this is important. So let's talk now about the meanings of the chart, starting as always from the physical significations. Now, from a physical point of view, we are called to make a difference, basically. Solving problems, fixing everything that is not right in a pure, I would say, Virgo spirit. Virgo, they're good doing that, right? And in particular, Mercury can count on the sextile with Mars. Mars is in Gemini, by the way, so it is ruled by Mercury. So Mercury can make good use of this Mars, right? Good use for what? Good use to overcome all the issues that we've been confronting during the last Mercury retrograde. This means during August, basically, right? Because this is the third square. As for the opposition of Saturn in Pisces, now that means that we're called to tackle problems to prevent slowdowns or issues that are preventing the war basically being smooth, right? So we can expect that things not being very smooth. But the mutual reception between the Sun and Mercury is still, it is a promising, I have to say. We can definitely make it with this mutual reception. Now, regarding the star Zosma, from a physical perspective, of course, this star is of the nature of Venus and Saturn. So this means that it could, during this process, expose us to dangers because of its Saturnian nature and because, as you can see, we have the moon making an opposition with Saturn. So the nature of the star is repeated in the chart by this opposition. So the star can bring dangers, and you want to keep that in mind, being, of course, cautious, especially at work, in order to prevent that. From a more psychological perspective, we may be feeling, I would say, the need to be useful somehow, to put ourselves at service of other people, and why not, to help them solving their own problems. Now, in some cases, the mutual reception between the Sun and Mercury could also lead us to feel that almost we have to save other people. Now, this is tricky, as we know. But talking about being there for others and the soul level and this more psychological approach to the chart, we really want to be looking at Venus, right? The goddess of love. Now, by the way, we have a beautiful Venus because of this placement. Venus, she is in her domicile, but she is confronting some issues as well. Now, why is that? Because Venus is in close conjunction with both the South Node, which is not great, and Lilith, which is even less great, right? So we have some shadows to process. And these shadows, of course, could affect the love in our life. So in general, friendships, family, but also relationships, all kinds of love. Now, in particular, the presence of the South Lunar Node indicates that our love, the love that we're giving, our good intentions, our intervention in the lives of others, well, may not always lead to positive outcomes. So we are called to carefully evaluate whether our intervention is required or not, whether it is truly useful or not. So this is tricky, right? Because we want to be there for others, but, Now, the presence of Lilith instead also suggests that we need to be, on guard against these shadows that we could inadvertently create. Now, these shadows may come from us. Why? Because of our behavior. Even though I know it is genuine, it is a loving behavior, but the advice here is to just, offer our help with an open heart, but waiting for others to actually ask for it. And then, focusing more on what they feel about it. In fact, unfortunately, I have to say, not always, good intentions lead to good actions, right? So we need to focus more on other people, on their perspective, on what they are feeling about it. Now, from a spiritual perspective, the moon, the sun, and Mercury are all three in the starry image of the lion. This is the lion here, as you can see. Now, in astrosophy, in particular, this constellation of the lion is connected to the spiritual hierarchies of the angels that are right above us, right? And to the inspirations streaming down from the angelic world into our astral body to inspire us developing our heart chakra, the forces of the heart. Now, this chakra allows us to develop the forces of our higher self too, which is connected to the forces of Christ, and especially to harmonize the three members of the human soul, which are thinking, feeling, and willing. And in this regard, of course, I highly recommend the 6 exercises for the development of the heart chakra given by Rudolf Steiner, of course, being an anthroposopher. Now, we can also see how today these stellar forces of the lion are entering the world through the lens, so to speak, of the sign of Virgo. So they are entering through Virgo in the world. And this means that nowadays we can find the forces of the heart, the forces of brotherhood through our daily job, basically. In short, whether we want to recognize it or not, today, whenever we are at work, we are always at the service of other people. We're working for them. And this means that we're constantly realizing the very ideal of, brotherhood, even though we're not focusing on that much because we say, of course, I'm working for money and so on. But it is our degree of maturity, our degree of spiritual consciousness to make us perceive this reality at different degrees, because it is undeniable that this is a factual reality, right? Because whenever we work, we are serving other people, right? Whether we want that or not. So, of course, we can be more aware of that because it is a very good thing, to be honest. And finally, we have the star Zosma that we have already discussed on a physical level. So Zosma gives this chart a very particular feature because Zosma is a star connected to the gift of prophecy, which is very, very interesting. So this means that this star can open up people who are particularly, sensitive to subtle realities to getting, real revelations coming from the angelic world. So you can definitely make a good use of this star in this regard. As always, thanks for watching. If you want to support my work, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell not to miss out on future astrological insights. I am Roberto Corona. See you in the next video.